On the Wake Up Radio presents The Center with your host, DC Radical One.
Blessings. I'm Russell Lewis. I'm a licensed insurance agent. I'm an independent agent and I represent a plethora of different insurance carriers, and I offer a variety of insurance products and insurance services, including automobile, motorcycle, boat, general contractors insurance, long-term care, life insurance, motorcycle. Are you a landlord, have rental property? I work with Foremost Insurance to offer landlord insurance, renter's insurance through Progressive Insurance, as you see, which is one of many carriers I represent. Do you need to protect your business vehicle or your truck? Do you have a golf cart? I work with Universal Property and Casualty for your homeowners and property insurance, specific specialty. Does someone in your home or business need someone who speaks Spanish in the insurance carrier? I have carriers who do that. I'm also a licensed mortgage loan officer in the state of Maryland. I'm looking to expand to 4 to 5 other states in this coming year. And I offer a book to my potential clients on how to get the best mortgages. And a second book I offer to licensed realtors to help their clients prepare for the mortgage lending process. Do your clients or your clients need an estate planning program? We have an estate planning software program which I market and assist you with. And again, many carriers I work with in 16 states from New York down to Florida, over to Ohio, Michigan, Arkansas, Texas, and Colorado. North Carolina, South Carolina, Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Alabama, and other states. If you need insurance, give me a call at 443-622-0561. My web address is www.lewisfinancialgroup.net. You can reach me Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. until 6 p.m. And I'm also available on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. I look forward to serving you with all of your insurance needs. Give me a call whenever you're available. Thanks you again. Peace and blessings. Have a great day.
Everyone, my name is Elijah Lewis. I'm author, motivational speaker. I'm coming to you from the DMV Showcase. Just wanted to take a quick moment to tell you about my book, Your Jewels in Your Journey. This book is all about giving us the tools we need to be our optimal self. What I tell people is that we're all on a journey, and on the journey we learn that life lessons are jewels, but it's also the people that we connect with that inspire us to be better that are jewels. And more importantly, we find out that at the end of the day, you yourself are a jewel. If you don't know who you are, it's hard to know where you're going. But more importantly, it's all about also teaching other people how to do the same once you feel inspired yourself. So if you want to learn more about me and my book, you can go to my website, www.elijahlewis.org. You can check out my book, Book Me for Motivational Speaking. I speak on topics such as freedom from life's addictions, the reality of your vision, and many other things. And also to let you know that during the holiday season, what we're doing is that when you purchase a copy of Your Jewels in Your Journey, 22% of that goes to a veteran that's battling PTSD. So we definitely want to get back to our veterans, especially those who are battling mental health issues. Mental health is very important. So it's always a nice way to give back to those who are less fortunate and who have given to us. So just let you know that this is going toward a worthy cause as well. And speaking of that, I'll take a quick moment to read from one of my book, a chapter from my book rather. This is going to come from chapter 7, which is always give back and help others. When you make it to being your optimal self, you should think about who's coming behind you. Effective leaders don't necessarily have followers, but they're building leaders to come behind them. For this reason, it is important to always give back and help others. By doing this, you're helping the next generation be able to get to their optimal self with the lessons and opportunities you have been given. If you have been given a gift, then you should be able to share that gift with the world. It goes back to when I said you should have a great role model. Well, sometimes you need to be a good role model as well, and that starts by giving back and helping others. So definitely, if you feel inspired, check me out again on my website. Definitely, if you're in the DMV area, I always do pop-up events like this. So shout out to Dr. Chichi. She's hosting the DMV vendor showcase. So definitely come check us out. We'd love to meet you, see how we can help you out. And at the end of the day, continue to be the jewels that you are, and maybe find many jewels on your journey. Thank you.
Question is, now, you see, the way you talk have frightened quite a lot of people.
Okay.
All right, according to what they've been saying and what I know. And I want to know that, are you going to not necessarily be meek and humble and all that, but are you going to just minimize your way of approach? Because not everybody's a revolutionary, or they have not been trained to be that, and the fear is keeping people away from coming together as they should. Now, what can you do about that?
There's nothing I can do about that, because it's my firm belief that somebody has to be that. Everybody can't be mealy-mouthed. Everybody can't be compromising. Everybody can't tiptoe through the tulips. Everybody can't play politics. Everybody can't, if I haven't said it, compromise. Somebody has to be strong. I wouldn't have to be as strong as I am if I saw some others being strong like that. I could tone down, but I'm feeling such desperation to get the message out, to try to plant the seed in those who are strong enough that the walls of their heart, the walls of the uterus of their minds, metaphorically speaking, can hold that revolutionary life and not abort it.
We're going to connect the dots, right?
Connect them.
In the first part, who did they attack?
Women, childbearing.
Women of childbearing age, right? The Catholic priests, they pointed out, they're like, wait a minute, how come you're not applying this to everybody? In the second clip, who did they attack?
Heterosexual men.
The heterosexual men. Let's do a little math. If you sterilize the women, and remember, this was applied to 500,000 women. Now, we're going to understand something here. If you apply that to Europeans, that might mean 500,000 to 1 million people not being born. But African people have more children. So you're talking about 2 to 3 million Africans not being born. Then on the other end, the men are, what's the problem with the men? The men are what? The men are heterosexual. They're masculine. They're too manly. That manliness is terroristic. So they're going to study how to stop that. So if you attack the women with the drugs and you turn the men into homosexuals, how many people will be produced? Zero. Genocide, plain and simple, and they tell you and throw it right in your face.
Out there, we have to be careful what sign we're standing next to.
That's right.
They had every kind of damn sign out there.
That's right.
We're queers for Mumia. That's a shame. We went to rallies in Philly. Every time the new Black Panther Party comes up, people got problems. Everybody could come up for Mumia and all political prisoners except the Black Panther Party.
Right.
Nobody wanted us around. Crazy cracker women standing up with their fist in the air talking about what I just mentioned, queers for Mumia. We're the lesbians for Mumia. And they are welcome at every rally. But some of our own brothers and sisters who claim to be revolutionaries will welcome the queers, will welcome the sissies, the faggots, will welcome the lesbians, the transvestites, the crossovers, the used-to-bes, the wanna-bes. They will welcome all of them. But when we come and say, Black Power, They say, oh, we don't need that. That's divisive. That divides the people. We don't need that on the platform for the political prison. God damn it, if a faggot can stand up, if a lesbian or dyke can stand up, if a queer can stand up, then God damn it, the black power movement must take a stand for our political prisoners.
We would be offended by receiving money
That's due to us.
For work that we did that we were never paid for. That we would be offended for receiving money for being brutally raped, for being whipped, for being worked from sun up to sundown, for having our name taken from us, our language, our spiritual systems, to be instilled with such self-hatred that black people are bleaching their skin, to have families ripped apart and have a man to have his wife sold off and sent to another state where he never sees her again, where a woman will have her son or daughter, or maybe son and daughter, taken and shipped off to some other plantation where she never sees them again. He says you will be offended for receiving money for that. Dr. Collins said, yes, we should need reparations. But white man, we also need some of your blood. I'll take the money first and the blood second, or vice versa. But what does the homosexual say? He basically said, white people won't like us if we get reparations. Right? I mean, think about it. He steps up here before Congress and talks to the chairman, who is Mr. Cohen. What type of name is Cohen?
Small hat.
He tells Mr. Small Hat, hey, man, we don't need any money, Mr. Small Hat. And Mr. Small Hat, of course, is going to say, of course you don't, because he would be one of the main people that need to pay, because the hats were behind the slave trade.
That's right.
Greetings, friends, family, allies, and enemies. Excuse me. I'm your host, DC Radical One, and you have entered the center. Shout out to our wonderful producer, Cindy Ashby. You can check us out on YouTube, iTunes Podcast, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and iHeart Radio on the Wake Up Radio. Give me a second while I try to get things together. While I try to figure out which. Yeah, I'll start with this. The Guardian asking for money. No, okay. Move away. So today I want to talk about, of course, the Iran war, but from a different perspective, how this war is going to affect Africa now and in the near future. So let me greet everybody that's here in the chat. BB40, Brother Jarake. Brother Jarake, did you catch? Have you downloaded the videos I sent you? Let me know that. BB40, Sister Najee, BB40, brother, you got ripped off. BB40 to Brother Tony, and that's everybody I see in the chat. So
here's what I want to talk about. It's a few things, but I'm gonna try to be brief. I got to be out of here by 4. Here's the reality of the situation of what's taking place in this war. America is being drawn into a quagmire. Excuse me. And the American government doesn't want to tell the truth about what's going on. In addition to that, Israel doesn't want to tell the truth about what's going on. So I do not have the video because I haven't seen it. Okay, bro, thank you. All right. If you're having an issue with, I'll check the email and see what's going on. Israel has banned people from being able to see what's going on. You can be arrested for sending out videos of the damage that is taking place in Israel. I'll just say this: large swaths of Tel Aviv have been obliterated. And the Iranians have said that they will now unleash their 2,000 kilogram bombs and up. And the hypersonics, which work like the Oreshniks that Russia have, and they have another set, I forgot what they call, of missiles that they're about to unleash. So basically their strategy, the Iranian strategy, has been this: overwhelm the Iron Dome with drones and older missiles, get it to basically run out of missiles, which I believe I talked about last week. The United States has actually moved interceptor missiles from the Asian theater, which are protecting Taiwan, and moved them to protect Israel, leaving not only Taiwan virtually defenseless, but also leaving the Gulf states virtually defenseless. Now, here's the problem. That hasn't helped. And what I mean by that is the Gulf states are still under attack. Brother, and South Korea, but Taiwan as well. That the whole Asian theater is just wide open now. But it hasn't helped. It hasn't. Well, I put it like this: hasn't helped the Gulf states. Iran has systematically taken apart the American defense and radar systems in the Gulf states. And as much as Trump wants to talk about it, he has not been bold enough to keep those bases filled with U.S. personnel. Because if he thought you could defend it, you would keep the people there. But you move the people out, which means you can't defend it. He also moved aircraft carriers out. Now, where are we now? Right now, the United States is moving at least one aircraft carrier, maybe two, and 2 destroyers to try to open the Straits of Hormuz. And they just did an attack on the military installations on Karg Island. So I wish I had a map of Karg Island. My apologies for not bringing that up. Karg Island is where the Iranian oil facilities are. So that's the place where they have their refinery and where they can hook up to ships and on board their oil for export. So that's what Karg Island is, KHARQ. So that what came under attack by Mr. Trump, I guess last night. And so now he did not attack the oil installation, but he said he will if the Straits of Hormuz aren't open. So they sent, I believe they're sending a force of about 2,500 Marines. And the question is whether they're going to try to take over Karg Island or they're going to try to secure the Straits of Hormuz on both sides. No one is exactly sure what the plan is. But here's the problem. They have, as we know, they've been firing hypersonic missiles at U.S. bases and Israel, which are thousands of miles away. If you say you want to have an invasion force right off the coast of Iraq, and they're firing hypersonic missiles, how exactly do you avoid that? This is a question. You can't defend yourself 1,000 miles away. How are you going to defend yourself 100 miles away? And so my only thought is that the U.S. thinks that Iran would not destroy their own facility, but I saw an Iranian commentator today say that they actually are used to having to use other facilities because of the previous war with between Iraq and Iran back in the 90s. So it's possible that they could. Now, one of the things that's taking place is this has become an asymmetrical war in every area. So we see the bombs and the planes well, actually, you don't see it because they won't let you see it. But if you know where to go and you go on Telegram, you go to some of these other channels, you see the bombs and the planes, and you see them dropping bombs on Iran. You see the missile attacks on Tel Aviv, which I don't know how anything is still standing there on Tel Aviv at this point. So you see these things. But the war that's going on now is the economic war that's taking place. So there's the attack on the infrastructure. And I'll say this, the Israeli and U.S. attacks are mostly on infrastructure and on people. The Iranian attacks have been mostly on military targets. Now, Israel hides some of their military targets underneath things like hospitals. So if you hear that the Iranians hit an Israeli hospital, it's probably true. What they don't tell you is Mossad got a base underneath the hospital, right? Now, what they say, a large aspect of war is deception. One of the most deceptive things that the U.S. is doing right now is lying. They're lying about the number of casualties. They're lying about how the casualties are coming about. And this is a perfect example that I want to read this event, and I'm going to show this video. And the reason I say event is because we're going to read the article and you can see why I say event. So let's get to this. If I can get this off screen. All right, here we go. Now, it says all 6 crew members confirmed dead after U.S. military plane crash in Iraq. Number of American troops killed in war on Iran, after incident in Western Desert now stands at 13. Now, I'm just going to say this. This is 13 acknowledged people. I have reason to believe that it's far more, but it is what it is. So it says all 6 members on board a U.S. military aircraft have crashed in Western Iraq or killed, the U.S. military has said. The KC-135 military refueling plane crashed in Western Iraq on Thursday. In an incident the military said involved another aircraft, but was not the result of hostile or friendly fire. So they're saying that there were 2 planes, and they're saying it's not friendly fire, right? So they didn't shoot down each other. The other plane just happened to be there, which means it was probably refueling, and somehow it was able to escape. And they're not telling you that it's mechanical either. The plane just fell out of the sky, according to the U.S. Now, what are people in Iraq saying? They're saying Iraq's Western Desert is a vast expanse of largely empty rocky plains, but it's also where many Iranian aligned Shia militia have bases. It's been the site of repeated Israeli and U.S. airstrikes. Now, see, that's what they haven't been telling you, that there have been airstrikes in Iraq against what they call Shia militias, which really is just an expansion of Iran's power. These are Iranian allies who have control of large swaths of land in Iraq. Now, just elsewhere, a French soldier was killed in an attack in Iraq's autonomous Kurdistan region. The French President Emmanuel Macron said on Friday is the first French military death in the war. Now, for those who don't know, what they've been trying to do is organize the Kurds to have an uprising against Iran. Now, I saw a Kurdish spokesman said that they were not going to join this war. We shall see. Here's what I will say to anybody who wants to join the war on this side of Americans. Don't think that they're going to have your back. They will leave you sitting out here on your own, getting slaughtered. And I'm gonna be honest, if Iran targets you with those hypersonics, you're dead already. Look, I've seen the damage. I've seen some of the videos of some of these things firing off and their latest stuff. This is, as I said last week, this has just become a war where two teams cannot defend each other at all. They just can't. There's just no defense. It's just the United States will fly over and they'll drop bombs and they'll fly back. And by the time they fly back, hypersonic missiles are coming the same night into Israel, into the Gulf states, and to those U.S. bases, leveling everything in sight. That's literally where we are with this war. And now the focus has moved on to the Straits of Hormuz, which we will get to after I get through this article. Now, back to the article. It says, since the joint U.S.-Israeli offensive in Iran began almost 2 weeks ago and plunged the Middle East into war, multiple attacks attributed to pro-Iranian factions have targeted the region, where foreign forces are based as part of an international anti-jihadist coalition. Now, let me say this. It is not an international anti-jihadist coalition. This is a lie. Because we know from the AES, from Barbara Traore and Barbara Goita especially, that what's really going on is the so-called jihadists are actually Mossad-controlled opposition to real Islamic leadership. Plain and simple. Fred, you got ripped off saying it's the 09 Saints defensive bounty blitz. Someone's getting hurt. There are a lot of people even hurt in Israel. So we know now, and it's actually in the Epstein files, that Mossad controls ISIS and Iraq. That's why ISIS and what's the other one? It's all of that. All of those so-called Sunni militias, all the Al-Qaeda, all that stuff is under Mossad and CIA control. So anything that's supposed to be some type of jihadist organization, like the jihadists that took over Syria, it's just Mossad. That's all it is. Being completely honest, the only Islamic military forces that I see that are actually Islamic military forces are all Shia. Hey man, I'm gonna just keep it 100, to the Muslim brothers out there that are Sunni. Y'all can try to argue ideology, but you're not doing your job. Just being completely honest. You allowed the Palestinians, who are largely Sunni, and of course there are some Christians among them as well, you allowed them to be slaughtered, and you did not take up the fight. But the Houthis fired a missile every day. Iran gave food, supplies, weapons, and everything to Hamas and Hezbollah. Meanwhile, the Sunni world sat on the sidelines. Now, what is taking place? Now, Iran is single-handedly holding their own against the great Satan, as they call it, the United States, and the Zionist entity. Single-handedly embarrassing the entire Muslim world and showing the complete cowardice and random shirk that is going on amongst those who claim to be Muslim and Sunni in the East. I'm just saying, you can get mad all you want to. You can come blow me up or whatever. You can do whatever you want. You can't prove me wrong. It's very simple. If you claim to be a follower of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then it is your job to destroy his enemies, which are all the Yehudi. Period, point blank, end of statement. You're also supposed to defend your brother, because a Muslim wants for his brother what he wants for himself. But yet you have people living the high life in Dubai and doing all types of debauchery and savagery. And now when the missiles are flying, they're running for cover. Frankly, it's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for you, and I'm not Muslim. I mean, keep it a buck. Somebody's got to tell the truth. Now, let's talk about black people. I had a discussion today, and it left me disgusted. I'm gonna be completely honest. Any black man, black woman, an older black man or black woman that allow their children to enter this war, whatever happens, you earned it. At some point, and that point should be right about now, black people have to take a stand against a regime that we know are pedophiles. We know they're pedophiles because they violated us when we were enslaved. A regime that we know deals in sex trafficking because a lot of slavery was sex trafficking. A regime that we know is racist because y'all complain about racism every day on the internet, right? So for you to send your sons and daughters to die for such a regime or to kill for such a regime, but you won't fight and kill your enemy right here, is a disgrace. And any black man or black woman who does that, anything that you receive is what you earn. I'm just gonna keep it 100. I had a discussion today with a Negro who was talking about weed. He's talking about weed gonna take the oil in Iran. I said, who was we? And then he started telling me all this American stuff and all this, and talking about we were in the White House. I'm like, we were in the White House? I said, there wasn't no black American man in no White House. Bruh, I literally could hear Malcolm X going through my head where he said, Negroes are talking about we sick, boss. We sick. This dude said we are going to take the oil in Iran. We, meaning black people in America. He don't own no oil stock, right? I know he ain't got no oil stock. He own a bus. You know what I'm saying? So I know he ain't got no oil stock. He don't have no type of stake in this. And then he wants to talk about we have investments in America. You can have an investment that's worth nothing. That's what people don't understand, right? A lot of people had a lot of investments in 1929. And they all went down the toilet. We own nothing here. Literally, they tell us by what, either 2030 or 2050, that the net worth of Black America will be zero. There is nothing here. There's nothing here worth dying for. And if there's anything here worth killing for, it's not no Iranians that you need to be killing. That's all I'm gonna say on that. Our people are sick. And our enemies are willing to sacrifice our sons and daughters to be slaughtered. Because eventually this is gonna be a ground war. Because Trump is just too much of a coward to admit his mistake. And when it becomes a ground war, and when those Iranians pop up out of that desert and pop up out of that mountain and start just slicing people's throats, but they don't even know what's going on, it's going to be Vietnam 21st century. And if anybody is old enough to remember how a lot of black people came back from Vietnam, there's a reason why the drug trade flourished in the black community. Because a lot of people came back from Vietnam and couldn't deal with the reality of what they saw and what happened, and they got on drugs. A ground war in Iran will break America. I said it here first, and I'm not the only one to say it. People way more qualified than me have said it. That's why they're getting ready for the draft. They're making. I think they just passed the law. Roger Rocket, did you just have something up where you talked about it? Defend the guard Act. Is that the one? But I know they just passed a law dealing with the draft. And they've been working on another law to bring women into the draft. They've been working on that for a couple of years now. So this war is nowhere near ending, right? But anyway, my bad. I know I'm supposed to be reading. Hold on. Do I got a video? Hold on. Let me see if I got the video. I'm gonna play the video on what happened and what they said about this plane, and then we're going to discuss whether or not we think they're telling the truth. But it's easier for me to do that than to read the article, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of not in article reading mode. I'm kind of like giving my commentary mode. So let's just check out this video.
The one shown here refueling a fighter jet mid-air during the United States Operation Epic Fury against Iran. It's a KC-135 Stratotanker that crashed in western Iraq on Thursday, killing U.S. crew members. According to Central Command, a second plane was involved in the incident but landed safely.
The incident occurred over friendly territory in western Iraq while the crew was on a combat mission, and again was not the result, as CENTCOM has said, was not the result of hostile or friendly fire.
It comes after the deaths of 7 other U.S. service members earlier in the war.
War is hell. War is chaos. And as we saw yesterday with the tragic crash of our KC-135 tanker, bad things can happen. American heroes. All of them.
The Islamic resistance in Iraq, which is a loose alliance of Iran-backed Iraqi factions, claimed to have downed a KC-135, providing no evidence. They also said they had targeted another plane that escaped. The KC-135, built by Boeing in the 1950s and early 60s, has served as the backbone of the U.S. military's air refueling fleet. Often called gas stations in the sky, the plane allows other aircraft to continue missions without having to land and fly very long distances. Aerial refueling is very dangerous, requiring precision while attaching the boom or hose to the receiving plane, while the 2 aircraft must maintain steady flight during the process. KC-135s are also used to transport wounded personnel during medical evacuations or conduct surveillance missions. Despite upgrades over the years, the aircraft's age has fueled concern about their reliability and durability. It's set to be gradually phased out as more of the next generation KC-46A Pegasus tankers enter service.
Now, you all tell me. If the plane wasn't shot down and the plane, wasn't shot down by the enemy and it wasn't shot down by us, soon the plane just fell out the sky. Because if planes are falling out the sky, then you're really in trouble, right? So the Iraqi militia claim that they shot it down. That's the plausible theory. I'm going to go with the preponderance of the evidence, right? Plain and simple. Now, let me get back to this article real quick so we can get on to the next phase of this discussion. Says the pro-Iranian Cashapp al-Kaf group in Iraq warned on its Telegram page that French interests in Iraq and the region would be under targeting fire after the arrival of a French aircraft carrier. The U.S. has moved a large fleet of aircraft into the Middle East to take part in operations against Iran and has deployed specialist search and rescue units to extract down plane crew. In an earlier statement, U.S. Central Command said it had been carrying out rescue efforts after the U.S. KC-135 refueling aircraft went down. A second aircraft involved in the reported incident landed safely. It is the fourth U.S. aircraft loss since the U.S. and Israel launched strikes against Iran on the 28th of February. 3 U.S. Air Force fighter jets were mistakenly shot down by Kuwaiti air defenses in early March, allegedly. All crew members in those jets ejected safely. 13 U.S. troops have been killed in the conflict, while as many as 150 have been wounded. The death toll in Iran is more than 1,300, according to the country's UN ambassador. President Donald Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth have both said the war will probably claim more American lives before it ends. That's the only true statement they made all day. 6 of the U.S. personnel were killed when an Iranian drone struck an operations center at a civilian port in Kuwait. They were in the Army Reserve and worked in logistics, keeping troops supplied with food and equipment. A 7th U.S. service member died after being wounded in an attack on Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia. On Thursday, Mustafa Khamenei, Iran's new supreme leader, vowed to avenge the Iranian casualties in the conflict, according to a statement read by a presenter on state TV. Khamenei himself was wounded in the Israeli airstrike, the first moments of the war, that killed his father and other family members, according to some Iranian officials. Iran's Fars news agency said the U.S. and Israeli strikes hit parts of Tehran on Friday, adding that homes shook from the blast. The Israeli military said Iran fired a barrage of missiles toward Israel overnight. Emergency services reported that 2 people have been injured in the country's north. Israel continued striking Beirut on Friday as a threat to expand operations and seize territory in Lebanon if the militant group Hamas did not stop its attacks. I'm just going to say this about that. Good luck, because you're going to need it. Right now, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and the Iraqi militia forces have all been activated against Israel and the United States. Also, Russia and China have provided logistics and intelligence. What is the last step that can happen is that Mr. Kim Jong-un is chomping at the bit, and literally all Iran has to do is call him and say, hey, can you send some forces? For those who have forgotten, Kim Jong-un sent a couple of squadrons to work with the Russians in the early parts of the Ukraine war. And of course, we know that North Korea is a nuclear armed country, and haven't forgotten that the Pakistanis have said that if nukes are unleashed on Iran, they will return fire on Israel. Here's what I'm going to say. Plain and simple. Is there a possibility of a nuclear bomb being dropped in this situation? Yes. What is that percentage? It depends on how long the war goes on and how effective Iran is in destroying Israel. Plain and simple. That's what it comes down to. So right now, something that hasn't been talked about at all in the major media, Mr. Netanyahu and Ben Gvir, neither one of them have been seen publicly. Mr. Netanyahu allegedly put out a video of him speaking, and it turned out it was AI because he had 6 fingers on his hand. So unless he's an alien, yeah, that wasn't him. right? So we do not know the state of Mr. Netanyahu or Mr. Ben-Gvir. So we don't actually know who is prosecuting this war on behalf of Israel. What we do know is that the United States has reached out through back channels to stop the war and have some type of ceasefire. Iran has said there will be no ceasefire because their demands are simple. The U.S. gets up and leaves the Middle East, period, end of discussion. And you pay us for the people that you had. You pay us reparations for the people that you have slaughtered. Well, the U.S. is not going to do that, so I guess the war shall continue. I mean, this is where we are. So Trump finds himself, as Malcolm X once said, trapped, double trapped. He can either flee, and of course, Iran will be able to say that we defeated the great Satan, and leave Israel to fight their own battle, which means if Israel's left to fight their own battle, they're going to lose, and then they're going to use the Samson option. Or stay there, send boots on the ground, have some of them get killed, send more boots on the ground, and enter a quagmire where the United States fights for the next 10 years, loses thousands of people, crashes their economy, and then eventually still loses. AKA Vietnam War, 21st century version. Except I don't think that the recovery will be as easy as it was to recover from Vietnam War. Because just strategically, as far as minerals and oil and all the other stuff, this is a much more valuable and vital strategic interest of the entire world. And the idea that Russia / China / North Korea / Pakistan / even India, who want to be on the side of the Americans, but also part of BRICS. So yeah, they're going to have to pick a side. The idea of all of those countries staying out of it, while all of the more and more European powers are getting in it, I'm not sure that's going to happen. And plain and simple, the more people who get involved, the higher chance of somebody doing something crazy, because you just have more personalities, right? We know Kim Jong-un don't care. It's just plain and simple. He does not care, right? The Iranians have shown that they're not backing down. It's just not happening. And I wish I had saved the clip, but of all people, Tucker Carlson said something. He said, surrender means that someone you hate is to violate your wife and daughter. That's what surrender really means. Now, this is a European telling us what it means to surrender to Europeans. Now, as Black people in America, we know exactly that that's what it means, because we've been through it. And so because of that, I have great respect for the Iranian people. The men of Iran, the Black man in America could learn from the Iranian, the Persian. He's like, no, you're not gonna come and violate my wife and daughter without getting blown up. If we all got to die, that's fine. And that's how it should be carried. Plain and simple. Another thing the Black man around the world can learn from this is, just like when you in the hood, when you're young and you got to get your weight up, and you might have to get some type of additional armament, but you definitely need to be doing some push-ups, some sit-ups, some chin-ups, and everything else when you're a young man and you're going into your own. It's the same thing that young nations have to do, is get your military up. It's more important to work on your military and your military technology than it is to be able to do anything else outside of feeding your people. The two things that a young nation has to do and a new leader has to do is be able to feed the people and build your military. Because the only way you're going to be able to defend yourself is by building your military. Just plain and simple. Iran has been building their military infrastructure for 40 years. Had they not done that, they would not have lasted one day in this war. But think about it. They're fighting the two of the most advanced militaries on earth and fighting them to a stalemate. So every day, the U.S. brings in more and more troops, more and more weapons, more and more this, that, and the other, while claiming that they're winning. Well, I ain't never been in a fight where I had to go get another weapon because I'm winning the fight. You see what I'm saying? That's not how it works, right? You don't have a fist fight with a dude one day and you bring a hammer the next day. And then after you bring a hammer, you bring a bat. Then after you bring a hammer and a bat, you bring a knife. Then you bring a hammer, bat, and a knife. Then you bring a gun. Then you bring a bigger gun. You know what I'm saying? You start off with a 22. Then you get a 32. Then a 38. You know what I'm saying? Then a 9. Then a 45. Now you're so scared you got to bring an AK. But you win it. That's not how it works. That's just not how it works, right? So I'm gonna show this clip real quick of the Iranian president. It's a very short clip, but as I said, we haven't seen Netanyahu or Ben Gvir, but here on the streets of Tehran, you'll see the Iranian president just out and about while bombs are being dropped and everything. So we're gonna see who, you know, who is who, right? Who's built like that? Just check this clip out. The Iranian president Pezeshkian. So that was the Iranian president walking through the streets of Tehran. People hugging him, kissing him, praising him. That was Iranian President Pezeshkian. Remember, bombs are being dropped, right? You know what I'm saying? Bombs are being dropped on the city. He's walking up amongst the people. Remember, they were talking about we're going to have regime change. Does it look like the people want regime change? Does it look like the people, and I got to get the other videos where they have rallies of hundreds of thousands of people in the streets of Tehran, rallying around the flag, right? There was a video, and I can't find it now. I had a video, or I saw a video, excuse me, of a young Iranian woman explaining she was speaking English, telling Americans what Allahu Akbar means. And she was saying that we say God is great when you bomb us, and that no matter what you do, no matter how many bombs you have, no matter how many planes and missiles, God is greater than your planes and your missiles and your bombs, and it doesn't matter what you do. We will not be defeated. This is what their women are saying. See, when your women are telling you, just keep going. We with you. We got your back. Just keep fighting the enemy. See, when your women are telling you to keep fighting your enemy, that's when men become invincible. When your women we know this from our history. When the women joined the Panthers were defeating the police to the point where the FBI had to back up the police because the police were scared. See, when the man and woman are working together, they cannot be defeated. That's why the enemy used divide and conquer tactics amongst us every day on the internet. The Negroes every day complain about women, and women on sometimes a different platform come on every day and say bad stuff about the men. I come on Threads every day, and every time I open up the Threads app, there's some woman saying something negative about men. Not even for no reason other than just that's what she woke up and brushed her teeth, had cereal, and then said something bad about the men. Every single day. Brother, you got ripped off with the $5 super chat says, the war can end today if the cowardly Yurugu in the U.S. turn their xenophobic aggression on the hats who've actually taken over their power. I'm just gonna leave that up there because can't argue with that part. I'm gonna be honest. Some of them are just as scared as we are of them. That's just the reality of the situation. They're scared. They fear and worship their masters like we fear and worship our masters. Scared to death. Plain and simple. Because now it's becoming open that these hats not even pretending anymore. They're openly talking about their disdain for Goyim. It don't matter who the Goyim is. It don't matter if the Goyim white, black, Puerto Rican, as Prince once said. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter. Chinese, Japanese, Iranian, Indian, doesn't matter. They are determined to rule, and whoever gets in their way is getting slaughtered. And whoever they can use to facilitate that rule and slaughter, that's who they're gonna use. And it's very simple. At this point, it's the voluntarily enslaved against the involuntarily enslaved. The voluntarily enslaved are on the side of the destroyers, and the involuntarily enslaved are fighting back. So in this battle, am I Iranian or Shia or Muslim? No. But it's like football, right? If your favorite team is playing your least favorite, your favorite team isn't playing that week, but the team that you dislike the most is playing, you're automatically rooting against them. It don't matter who they're playing against, right? It doesn't matter. I'm rooting against them. Even though I live in Washington, I'm rooting against the Redskins every week. I'm also rooting against San Francisco and Green Bay. Now you're gonna say, well, what if San Francisco plays against the Redskins? Who are you rooting against? It depends on who got the better record. Whoever got the better record, I'm rooting against them. That's how it works. But I'm never rooting for them unless I need them to win for my team to get into the Super Bowl. That's how it works. Well, this is the same thing. If Iran wasn't playing against Israel, would I be thinking about Iran and hoping that they do well? Absolutely not. Wouldn't even be thinking about it. But in this case, because the United States chose to just bow down to Israel, I'm rooting for Iran. Why not? Because certainly Israel getting stronger and getting more land and territory and conquering people and slaughtering people, that doesn't benefit me at all, without question. Ain't no question about that. We see that they're sexually violating men in Gaza. I'm never going to advocate for anybody that's sexually violating men, because if they're doing that to men, I know what they're doing to the women and the children. And of course, we covered that in previous shows. So the reality of the situation is, I'm never going to side with the barbarian. But some people say, well, Iran will slash the Persians did XYZ. It's a lot of things they've done. But one of the things they did under this regime is when they took the hostages in 1979, they let the black people and the women go. Because Ayatollah Ali Khamenei said that the blacks have been under great oppression in their country, so we have no problem with that. We have no beef with them. And they let them go. And I didn't know that white people were mad about that. I just thought it was just a matter of course of history. I didn't know until recently that white people were mad because the black people got let go first. That's what y'all want me to say. So what I am going to do now, we're going to take a break. We're going to play the Lost Tapes advertisement, and we will be back for the second half of the show.
Now, we're going to go and talk about AIPAC. What is AIPAC? The American Israel Public Affairs Committee, AIPAC. What does AIPAC do? AIPAC is the gangster with a whole lot of money that says, I'm going to buy you and pay you money, and you're going to make decisions that I want you to make. You're gonna do as I tell you, because I got my hands in your pockets. And they attached to people like Jeffrey Epstein, who take videos of the people that are supposed to be our representatives, and as they take those videos, they hold them hostage and say, vote as I tell you to vote. Do as I tell you to do.
I didn't even, the concept. I saw Naeem Akbar talking that black talk he gave, and I was out there telling everybody, yo, this dude gay. You remember back in the 90s, people hating me. Oh, this dude gay, man, we can't do this. You can't be up there talking black and be gay too. I was like, okay, he out the way. No, we're not doing this. I'm saying this because I did not imagine a time. Little old me from Southeast, where if they tell us to take a jab, stick ourselves, I'm gonna be the only one that wanna say something. Maybe the brother out in Whitaker, brother Darren, you know, we got a few brothers, but I'm talking about like, I'm thinking whatever they tell us to do, we got black people who studied under these people, we gonna say no. Or we gonna at least wanna investigate. I'm thinking it'll always be that way. I'm thinking if somebody's pushing this stuff, R. Kelly molesting children, you're like, we're gonna deal with this dude. I'm thinking everybody's gonna agree with that because you don't mess with children.
That's right.
That's what I thought was, that's just how I thought we were. And that is who we are intrinsically, but I'm saying, I didn't imagine a world where I'm saying, don't vote for this dude. It's a trick. Come on, y'all. He's a mulatto who didn't grow up around black people. He a gay dude. He gonna push homosexuality. Y'all can't see this? I'm thinking, I'm telling y'all before he get in office, what are you talking about? And people who are the hardest nosed people in African nationalism, I mean the hard ones, looking at me, nah, you can't do that, dude. Y'all don't see this? I'm actually the only one that's gonna say, yo, you don't see, and then when he gets in and does what I say he does, okay, I saw. You messed up the first time. Okay, I saw. I'm thinking, okay, but now he going back for office. He done already made gay marriage legal. All right, now you get it. The dude, I told you he was a punk, he was a gump in the beginning. I still couldn't conceive. No, dude, if you're looking for somebody else to do it, you ain't studied the lessons of history. When you're passionate and pulled to do something and can't stop, it's a message being given to you. Ain't nobody coming. You gotta believe in yourself because somebody decided that you was supposed to do something. So you can't turn it off and stop looking for people. You just gotta do what you do. We looked in the past, 1972. I was born in 1973. I'm almost 50 years old. I'm 50 in December. A year before I got here, they must have known I was coming. They said, let's get this thing out here now before you get here.
They did what's called the Gay Rights Platform of 1972. This is just official document, sharing information. If you read, go look that up online for yourself. They're making it difficult to find. I don't know if people have been noticing this, but things that you used to get easily go and put it on the internet and find them, you can't find this stuff no more. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff you can't find. But I'm gonna bring your attention to just one. It's a bunch of stuff, all of it's aimed at children. Sex education to children, adoption, gay adoption of children. But there's one that's most important for what we're talking about today. And they break it down from the federal level and the state level. On the state level, they say every single state, they want laws repealing all laws governing the age of sexual consent. I'm gonna say that again. They want the repeal of all laws governing the age of sexual consent. Meaning a newborn baby, they want it to be legal to have sexual contact with a newborn baby. What year did I say? 1972. That's 51 years ago. Fast forward 21 years from then to 1993. In the interest of producing that result, they had right downtown, 30 minutes, not even 30 minutes if there's no traffic, go right up here East Capitol, go all the way up the road, you run right into it. They had the 1993 Gay Rights March on Washington. Let's see what that was about.
Check one.
Did y'all hear what they just said? Do I need to play that again? He said, don't play it again. He said, no, thank you. All right, I want to do this again. They said, we're young, we're queer. We're going to do what? We're going to rule the world. Now remember, 21 years before that, what did they say that they wanted for children? Repeal all laws governing the age of sexual consent. They want to have sex with children and make it totally legalized. 21 years after they said that, they said we're young, we're queer, we're going to rule the world. That was in 93. This is 30 years after that. So they've had 30 years to say we're queer, we're going to rule the world, which at that point they said we haven't gotten to the point where we rule the world, because if they did, they wouldn't be saying that. They would say we're young, we're queer, and we rule the world. They didn't say that. We're young, we're queer, we're going to rule the world and have it our way.
All right, brothers and sisters, I am back for the second half of the show. Might check if you can hear me, because tech things do happen. And I know some of you, if you've been paying attention, you're like, okay, DC, you said you want to talk about how this war affects Africa, and you haven't said anything about Africa yet. And if you said that, you be telling the truth. I have not. So I'm not made into a liar. Let's take a look at some of the things that's going on. 520-acre real estate project by Israeli investor sparks debate. Now, you're going to ask me, okay, DC, what does this have to do with anything? Let's just put it this way. If you're an Israeli and Iran has said, we're going to fire missiles today, tomorrow, and for as long as we have missiles, and you know that China is helping to bring in parts so that they can continue to assemble missiles, and Russia is sending them parts so they can continue to assemble drones because they helped Russia with their drone program in their war with Ukraine. Doesn't look like the supply of missiles is going to end anytime soon. So would you continue to get bombed every day if you can escape somewhere? And where would you want to escape to other than a place where an Israeli investor has 520 acres of real estate in Kenya? Let us read. This is from the Nairobi Leo Press. No, I would like not to. I don't want to subscribe unless you actually let me read the article. It says Kenyans have blown hot and cold over a real estate and agricultural project by an Israeli investor in Solai, Nakuru County. This is after the project was featured in an investment show where journalist Alex Chamwada spoke to Erez Rifkin, the owner. Rifkin, you know, you hear that name in New York a lot, that Rifkin name, by the way. Rifkin revealed that the property was mostly agricultural, with a segment of the land set aside for real estate. He disclosed plans to move an Israeli-based school to the land. A section of Kenyans protested the project, claiming that it was a baby step toward establishing an Israeli community in Kenya. To them, they would not look past the conflict between Israel and Palestine. The same people who did this in Gaza want to set up an Israeli community in Kenya? One user questioned, and they should question. President William Ruto, who is a slave of the Western powers, and former head of state Uhuru Kenyatta came up as Kenyans accused them of inking a secret deal with the Israeli government after a visit by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. A new state of Israel in Kenya? Why are you guys shocked? Don't you remember Netanyahu is the one who showed up and saved Uhuru Kenyatta after a clear radio win? One social media personality. Oh, Dr. Mubi, our friend Dr. Mubi. She alleges. So not only is Ruto, but Uhuru Kenyatta in bed with Netanyahu. But this ain't looking good at all, now is it? The claims made by Dr. Mubi Saraki remain allegations since they cannot be confirmed. Yeah, but it ain't looking good. The Solai Dam tragedy was also mentioned, but many questioning whether there were any ties between the real estate project and the dam collapse. Well, now they've sent me, I gotta look this up. Brother, you got ripped off? Can you look into the Solai Dam tragedy in Kenya? Because it's possible that the Israelis sabotaged the dam to get the land, which, I mean, that would not be past them. We can't put it past them. Now, however, many Kenyans expressed support for Rifkin and his business, stating that it reaffirms Kenya's position as a business destination for multinationals. Black people everywhere continue to volunteer to be slaves. One owner of a real estate company in Kenya took the opportunity to call for more Israelis to invest in the country. My goodness. Oh, man. Says you are welcome. Feel at home. Kenya is ready for you. These people just don't get it. I don't have my black people still don't get it dropped. Anyway, Kenyans were also cautioned against being negative towards foreigners and were urged to do their own background checks before assuming the worst. A background check is not going to help you in this situation. The only background check you need to have is that it's a Mzungu. The Mzungu is your background check. When you see Mzungu, that's your enemy. Let me say that I saw a video, speaking of Mzungu, I saw a video where African children that had never seen Europeans before literally were trying to run away while their parents held them there. Because as soon as they saw them, they were they were scared out of them. The children have more intelligence than the adults. Brother, you got ripped off. Gives us the information. Says the Zelle Dam tragedy occurred May 9, 2018, when the Patel Dam, a privately owned and unlicensed earth dam on Patel Coffee Estates in Zelle. Oh, we haven't got to the second part yet. I'm going to assume that the dam collapsed, which is indeed a tragedy. I'll wait for the second half of that message from you, brother. I think there may be some of that message. But let's get back here. It says, it says the amount of misinformation and erratic theories running around concerning the acquisition of 200 acres in Zelle by Israeli investors is concerning. Worse still is the open anti-Semitism. There's no such thing as anti-Semitism. Again, I'm just going to say this. As a person who has suffered from being racially profiled and whose people have been brutally beaten, murdered, raped, and everything else, if you don't show me any bodies, nobody's done anything to you and no one cares. I'm just being completely honest. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I got to tell the truth. Bring me the bodies. Because black people have suffered more racial abuse than any people on earth. And if you claim that you're being racially profiled and people hate you and this and that, bring me the bodies. If you can't bring me the bodies, then nothing happens. And don't try to bring me the bodies from a war that you started, because I don't want to hear that. Right? So there is no anti-Semitism until you bring me the bodies. Now, Brother You Got Ripped Off says that the disaster, this is the Zelle Dam tragedy, was attributed to gross negligence and corporate impunity, with the dam built without proper permits, environmental impact assessments, or spillways. So, if you are a Kenyan, you have a reason to be skeptical about this situation, right? And again, as the person said, these are the same people who are just brutalizing the people of Gaza, excuse me, right? So now let's talk about what Rifkin says. Rifkin says, my name is Rifkin, originally from Israel, quote unquote, the Holy Land. Now, first of all, that's a lie. There's nothing holy about the land because the land is occupied by demons. So therefore it can't be holy. There's only wickedness, death, and destruction there. And that's all we've seen for the last 70 years. So there's nothing holy about that. He said, I came to Kenya for business. Yeah, just like colonizers came for exploration. And I stayed for love. It means he loved brain dead Negroes who bend over to give evil an opening. He said, we love the environment, we love the people. That is a lie. We love the community. That is a lie. The investor maintained that all Kenyans were welcome to invest in the project, which doesn't mean anything because they'll still have control of it. I can invest in Amazon, but I don't have any say in what Amazon does, so it doesn't matter. He revealed that the project created many employment opportunities, which means you're just a slave for locals who work in the farm and stone quarry. The debate emerged amid a spike in the negative perception of foreigners, and there should be, because again, they're enemies. While some concerns, all concerns are legitimate. It says while some concerns are legitimate, all concerns are legitimate. Propaganda, man, anyway. So, already plans are being made to set up for an escape route in Africa for Israelis who are being mollywopped by Iranian missiles. I just find the timing of this to be more than coincidental, right? Now, we're going to look at, this is from Yahoo News. What does it say? It says Gulf attention is turning inward, while the Iran war could destabilize the Horn of Africa. Let's take a look at it. It says the Gulf states have become increasingly prominent in the squabbles, civil wars, and inter-country tensions in the Horn of Africa. Over the past decade, the countries in this region include Sudan, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Somaliland, Somalia, and Djibouti. Now, Somaliland didn't even exist 5 minutes ago in the span of history. It says, as a result, the U.S.-Israel war on Iran, at least they got that part right, matters for the Horn, where Gulf money, Gulf diplomacy, and Gulf defense equipment and offensive equipment have become part of the operating environment of conflict and rivalry. For over a decade, I have researched the interactions of sub-Saharan Africa, I hate that term, with the Arab Gulf states, as well as Turkey, Japan, China, and others. In my view, Gulf states may scale back their engagement in the Horn as the security situation in the Middle Eastern region deteriorates. This could potentially reshape conflicts, alignments, and diplomacy across the Horn of Africa if the war drags on, which it will. Gulf states like the United Arab Emirates and Qatar, important so-called partners for Ethiopia, Sudan, and Somalia, will likely begin focusing inward on their own security. I'm just going to say this. They have no security. You want to know what their security is? Stop laying up with Israel and bowing down with Israel or be destroyed. That's their security. Israel cannot defend you, Qatar. Israel cannot defend you, UAE, Dubai, all those things. Israel cannot defend you. They cannot defend you from the Houthis. They cannot defend you from Hamas, Hezbollah, the Iraqi militias, and they certainly can't defend you against those hypersonic missiles. I'm just going to say that. No Gulf state can be defended from those hypersonic missiles. It's plain and simple. We've seen it now. I'm just gonna say this. If you are a monarch in a Gulf state like Bahrain, just get out. Just pack up and leave. Run away. And turn over the government to the people. Because a place like Bahrain, for example, I forgot. Bahrain is largely a Shia country run by a Sunni monarch. The people of Bahrain should do whatever they need to do to take the power back from a puppet who's bending over for Israel. That's all I'm gonna say. Right? Anyway, let's just get back to this. It says in practical terms, this could mean a drop in high-level visits, a reduction in arms flows, and a weakening of political loyalty as Horn actors adjust. For the Horn, this could lead to, he said, 2 outcomes. It could lead to actually more than this, but I'm gonna see what his 2 outcomes are. 1, an escalation in conflict, with states and armed groups seeking to settle scores while external patrons are distracted. Or 2, a temporary cooling off period as actors reassess the implications of reduced Gulf funding, arms, and so-called mediation. Either way, the Horn is unlikely to grow calmer, Instead, long-standing grievances between, for example, Ethiopia and Eritrea may become more pronounced. I'm gonna be completely honest. I've talked to people from Ethiopia and I've talked to people from Eritrea, and there is animosity there that I don't understand, even after talking to them. Because being completely honest, to me, guess what they look like? The same people, right? It's like a smaller version of Pakistan and India. You want to know the difference between a Pakistani and an Indian? One is Muslim and one is Hindu. That's the difference. They're literally the same people. They were literally part of the same country until I believe the British came and divided it and put the Muslims on one side and the Hindus on the other. If you look, here's the bad part. As far as I know, between Eritrea and Ethiopia, they don't even have a different religion. They're all on the same. I don't know why they keep putting all this stuff up. On the same. They're just the same people. I don't know what to say. If I'm ignorant and there's some Ethiopian or Eritrean brothers and sisters here, and you went to school with me, shoot me an email. That's all I'm gonna say. Now, it says Sudan's war and Gulf backing. For Sudan, the implications of the ongoing conflict in the Gulf could be significant. The two warring parties, the Rapid Support Forces, the RSF, and Sudan's military have relied heavily on external support, right? Because they don't manufacture their own weapons. But both may find themselves suddenly without the largesse and military equipment from Gulf backers, depending on how the Iran war unfolds. The drawback of support could hit the RSF particularly hard because its biggest backer, the UAE, needs to focus on its own security. Sudan's military, however, may continue to benefit from Turkish and Egyptian support. Much recent commentary has focused on evolving quote-unquote alliances and blocs that pit the UAE, Israel, Somaliland, Ethiopia against Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Somalia within Sudan's civil war. So let's take a look at the lens of this. So they're saying that the UAE and Israel and Somaliland and Ethiopia are working against Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Somalia. So here's the interesting part in this. The UAE and Israel cannot defend themselves from Iran, which means they will eventually have to take themselves out of this fight. Interestingly enough, Saudi Arabia can't defend themselves from Iran either, and they may have to take themselves away from this fight. If Turkey decides to join the fight, they won't be able to defend themselves either. Right? And I had to assume that with the length that Iran's missiles have gone so far, Egypt, I don't know, but it is interesting that Iran's war and their focusing on the Gulf states could actually calm down a war in Africa. Well, a civil war in Sudan. This framing, however, often misses two basic facts. First, these are not alliances, but rather opportunistic alignments that bring together diverse actors and interests from outside the home. That is correct, because there's no way these line up with people all working together. First of all, Turkey and Saudi Arabia and Egypt don't really like each other, and they don't really care about Somalia. And the UAE and Israel, they will work together. But I don't know why Ethiopia would side with them, but maybe they are. Right? Let's get back to the article though. It says these alignments have always been opportunistic on the part of external actors such as Turkey, the UAE, and Qatar, without question. They hold only as long as external patriots can plausibly deliver resources, arms, and diplomatic attention without unacceptable reputational damage to themselves. Second, state leaders in the Horn of Africa have largely steered these relationships themselves. They have used external patrons to advance domestic and regional interests. Gulf states' opportunistic interventions were largely because they were at peace with one another and with Iran. That is no longer the case. Sudan's civil war may last even longer now that Gulf states are focused elsewhere, with neither side in the civil war having the ability to land a knockout blow because of loss of weapons and money. So I guess in a way it's possible that it can make the war more brutal because they don't have as much military equipment. By the way, I have forgotten to mention, I am your host, DC Radical One. Welcome to the Center. You can follow me on Instagram at DC.Radical1, on Twitter at DC_Radical_ONE, on Threads at DC.Radical1, on OTW2 at DC Radical #1. And you can donate me a Cashapp $DC Radical1, or Zelle with straightblackfriday_DC at protonmail.com. And you can email me at straightblackfriday_DC at protonmail.com. Now, Brother Jarake says that since the 1970s, let's put this up here. Says since the 1970s, Israel has maintained a strong security presence in Kenya, including a Mossad station during the Daniel Arap Moi era, due to shared concerns about so-called terrorism. Of course, we know in the modern context that terrorism is being run by Mossad. So calling on Mossad to help you fight terrorism when Mossad is a terrorist is the definition of mass awkwardness, shall we say, right? And let me pause here, because I forgot to mention this while Brother Genie's video was playing. I am currently working on bringing Brother Genie to the show. But I'm going to say this. I'm not bringing the brother on if people aren't going to show up to watch the live streams, right? Because it'll be a live stream that we'll have a live interview. So I'm going to, in fact, I should look it up. I should look it up on my phone. Let me check and see. Let me check and see. What should be the threshold, brother? You got ripped off. What should be the minimum threshold for the last 3 live streams that we should set it at? What's a good number? I'm gonna say 250. We have to have 250 views within the first 3 days of 3 live streams in a row before I bring the brother on. Because there's no reason that an interview with Brother Genie should not get 1,000 views within the first week. I'm gonna say that. And we should not have less than 50 people on the live stream when he comes on, right? Otherwise, we're wasting his time and my time and your time and everyone's time. So I'm gonna set that, but I'm gonna wait for the brother to say, Brother Jarake, if you want to interject, and Sister Najee, if you want to interject a number. Okay, hold up. He says that Brother Genie interview should have 100 people watch. Well, if 100 people watch, then that'll be at one time. The views will get up over 1,000 easy. So, Brother Jarake, you got a number? While we having this discussion, I'm looking up. Let's see. We had 280 views 2 weeks ago. Last week, almost 200. Week before that, under 200. The week before that, 270. Not looking good. We kind of have, it's not looking good. The best numbers we had were a few months ago, 466 views on the live stream. By the way, let me say this. So, let me make this announcement too. SBL Talk will come back next week and currently scheduled for next Saturday night. I'm still looking for some other sisters to be on a sisters panel for that. So I'll give y'all updates on that during the week. So yeah. So this is really going to be up to you all. It's going to be up to the audience. When we get the audience, or when we show the capacity to gain the audience, we'll bring the brother on. So that's my announcement on that. We'll see how many views we get on this and how many people we have. The audience has fluctuated for this broadcast. We had more people right before the break than we currently have now for whatever reason. It's kind of interesting that once we got to the African part, people suddenly left. I don't know what that means. So Brother Rocky says there need to be at least 100 people on watching the live. Brother Tony said at least 200 people. You mean 200 people at the same time? That's ambitious. I don't know. So I'm just putting it out there. I'll see what next week's look like when SBL returns, because sometimes we get a different audience with that. But yeah, so we shall see how this goes. I want to do it, and y'all tell me what's the best day during the week, or Sister Najee says, what would a conversation be about? What he's been up to on the African continent, because as you know, he's been in Africa for a while now. So we'll be talking about that. We'll also be talking about this war. So it'll be it'll be current events, but part of the current events of what he's been doing on Africa and part of the current events about the war. So that's what it'll be about. That will be the gist of the conversation. Right. So now, do have one more article. Let's see. Well, I wanted to bring up this. Okay, Black Agenda Report. I don't know why it skipped like that. Says statement on Zionist plans to create a mini state in Kenya and lessons from history. Let us read this, and then we should be probably ready. To close out. It says in 1903, Britain offered Kenyan land to Zionist settlers. That scheme failed. Now a new attempt is underway in the Kuru. Comrades, workers, peasants, and all oppressed people of Kenya. The struggle against Zionist expansion in Kenya is inseparable from the global struggle of the oppressed against imperialism. We face a new front of imperialist and Zionist aggression on our soil. History, which the imperialists and their local collaborators would have us forget, is repeating itself. Once in the year 1903, British colonialists sought to manipulate a desperate Jewish population by offering them land in what was the Uasin Gishu Plateau of Kenya. Now let me stop right here. Here's one thing I'm gonna say. The idea that the Jewish people could be manipulated is false. Again, we know that Lord Rothschild funded the Israeli project. So the idea that these people aren't manipulated, they're manipulators. So this is an incorrect analysis from that point of view. I'll just say that. Now, let's go back. He says we face a new, oh my bad, we're past that. No, my bad. It says this was presented as a solution to the horrors of the Kishinev pogrom and the waves of persecution that left hundreds of Jews dead and thousands homeless. Now, this pogrom that he's talking about, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and if I am mistaken, correct me, this was a response to the attempted overthrow of the Russian government, the attack on the Tsar by Zionist forces. Of course, later on, they were successful in overthrowing and killing the Tsar and his entire family 10 years later. So this wasn't some just random pogrom or some random anti-Jewish or anti-Semitic, if you will, attack. This was in response to an attack by the Zionists on the Russian government at the time, which was a monarchy, right? So we have to put things in proper context. Now, he says, let's see. It says that scheme. Wait a minute, hold up. The British framed this as a humanitarian offer, yet it was in reality a calculated move to extend their colonial control to create new settlements that would serve imperial interests and to further entrench the logic of land dispossession. That scheme, known as the Uganda scheme, though it bore the name of Uganda, was entirely within Kenyan territory. It failed not because of human kindness or fairness, but because of the contradictions with imperialism, the vigilance, of European settlers, and the enduring strength of the indigenous people. The so-called Uganda scheme of 1903 to 1905 offers us a warning. The land was far from empty. It was the ancestral grazing land of the Maasai and Nandi people. They had built their lives and societies upon it, defended it through struggle and deep spiritual and cultural ties to their territory. Yet the British, in their arrogance, sought to erase the presence of these communities from the map of consideration. They treated the land as a commodity to be offered to foreign settlers under the guise of charity. Now understand this, that Theodore Herzl had looked at Uganda as a possible place for a new Israeli state. So this is not one of those things where the British were just looking to pawn off Jewish people. No, this story is not quite correct, right? But nonetheless, the threat is real. No pun intended. Now, he says that, if I can go back to the article, it says that they treated the land as a commodity we offered foreign settlers under the guise of charity. When the Zionist Commission arrived in 1905 to survey the land, it found the plateau isolated and hostile according to the European standards. They encountered dangerous wildlife, unfamiliar climate, and above all, people who were already defending their homes. The British attempt to create a settlement in Kenya was not merely impractical, it was predicated upon the erasure of the Kenyan people and the assumption that European and foreign interests trumped the sovereignty of African communities. Today, nearly a century and a quarter later, a similar design emerges in Nakuru. Plans are underway to lease land to Israel to create a settlement financed by Standard Bank of where? South Africa. This initiative, wrapped in the language of development and investment, is in fact an attempt to replicate the same logic that drove the Uganda scheme. It seeks to establish foreign control over Kenyan land, displace the working masses, and set a precedent for further encroachments. This is not about trade, agriculture, or humanitarianism. It is about strategic implementation of Zionist influence within African soil. It is about testing the capacity of imperialist and settler powers to advance their territorial regimes under the guise of legality, finance, and media manipulation. It is about normalizing the presence of Zionist settlements in non-Palestinian territory in preparation for larger ambitions. And those larger ambitions are global dominion under the rule of the Zionist order, if you will. So that article encapsulates a large part of what is going on. Remember, this is also happening not just in Kenya, but also in South Africa. And there may be other African countries that I'm not aware of at this time, but if they're not already doing it, they will soon, because it is possible that Iran makes Israel virtually uninhabitable for a place for people to work and live and do business and have a normal life. Because right now they are not having a normal life. They're in those bunkers hiding and shaking in their boots. They went from dancing in those bunkers to being scared, you know what, right? So here's the reality of the situation in a nutshell. Black people in Africa, or wherever they are to be found, have to be prepared to defend themselves from Zionist takeover of their land and resources. Now, you're going to say, well, DC, shouldn't we be defending ourselves anyway? Yeah, we should, but we're not. But again, man, the slave-mindedness of the Negro, regardless of where he is anywhere on the planet, is a detriment to Black people anywhere on the planet. And unfortunately, we have slave-mindedness. The most enslaved are the people who happen to be in charge over Black people, wherever we are. That's what makes the AES so dangerous, is because that is the one place where we can look at where not one, not two, but 3 free Black men have organized themselves, united themselves, and are fighting against neo-colonialism and and hopefully they are aware enough to fight against neo-Zionism as well, right? So that's the reality of the situation. The Zionists are openly looking for places to expand and, if necessary, flee, right? And they're looking at Africa. And they're also, I know, looking at places in the Caribbean. And if these people aren't willing to defend themselves, they will be the new Palestinians. There'll be Kenyastinians and South Africanians and wherever else you are, Astinians. Like, think about it. Ask some of the Black people in New York how they have dealt over the years with Israeli landlords, slumlords, and that whole situation. We don't talk about that very much, but yet it's been a problem for decades, right? It's funny because I'm getting notifications on the war in Iran right now while I'm speaking. So this is something, brothers and sisters, that we need to look out for. If we know anybody on the continent, we need to warn them. And I'll be completely honest, we need to spread the word, the message for people to come and help Brother Genie so he can travel around the continent to warn our brothers and sisters and to warn the governments that, hey, this problem is coming to our, or in this case, coming to their doorstep. This war is going to make the Israelis / Zionists more desperate to find places to colonize and take over. That's just the reality of the situation. That is where we are. So before I get ready to go, let me say this. The plan is for SBL Talk to return next week. Sister Najee, are you still with us? If you're still with us, can you check in real quick? I want to have anywhere from 4 to 6 sisters on. Sister Najee said that she plans on being one of them, which means I would need 3 to 5 sisters to come on the panel. And, we're going to just talk about the state of black male-female relationships. And if that show's successful, I'll have a panel of brothers on, and we will do that in the future. So to the brothers, I'm gonna say this: have your questions ready for the sisters. If you want to email the questions in advance, so I have them, you can do that. You can email me at straightblackpridedc@protonmail.com. That's straightblackpridedc@protonmail.com. Or you can, if you follow me on Instagram, you can just DM me at Instagram at dc.radical_, dc.radical, the number 1, on Instagram. You can DM me there, right? So, Sister Najee, do you plan to be available for the show next week? The show will be right now scheduled for Saturday, the 21st at 7 p.m. I just wanted to know if you still plan on being available, because I know things do happen. And so that's the plan for next Saturday. The next episode of The Center, I may do a show during the day in the middle of the week. So just be on the lookout. Should get the notification. It depends on what's happening in the world. If there's something major happens with this conflict, I will do a show. If something major happens in America with Black people, I'll do a show. So it depends on the news cycle. I'll say that. So the sister said, yep, she's checking in, and as of right now, her return to the show, even if it's temporary, is in the works. So for those of y'all who are like, man, what happened to Sister Najee? You'll get to see her next week. Hopefully, that's the plan right now. So in fact, I have to check in with my host for that show. We plan on broadcasting that from a special location. Also, and I got to put a post about this, but Ujuma Shule here in Washington, D.C., if you have any money that you can able to donate to help them, they had an emergency plumbing, I believe plumbing emergency, and I put the post up. I had to get it from someone. I put the post up with the information for that. That is one of the African Center schools here. Is the oldest African Center institution in America. Been running since 1968. They've been under attack. The people here in Washington, D.C. that have taken over, who are, of course, homophiles, don't want the school where it is. It's in an area that's been completely gentrified, and they've been holding strong and carrying on their tradition for longer than I've been alive. Now that I think about it, way longer than I've been alive. And so they are in need of some financial assistance for those who either can do it, or you may know somebody who has the means to help. I need to have Baba Zulu on. I haven't talked to him. He's always busy with the school, but I do need to have him on while he has the capacity to speak. So I don't know when I'm gonna do that. I wanted to have some things done in February. February was rough for me personally, and so things weren't able to be made available. But again, when I have is Ujuma Shule, Brother Chirake, Ujuma Shule in Washington, D.C. I'll send the email. When I get I'll send you the email with the information. When I get I believe it was a flyer to post it on Facebook. If you have Facebook, you can check it out. Brother Chirake, you're part of all the, are you part of the Telegram channels? Because if you are, Sister Alma, she posted the information a couple of days ago. So, but if not, I'll shoot you an email with that information. So, with that, brothers and sisters, I thank you all for listening. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Okay, brother, I'll send you an email. Again, I'm your host, DC Radical 1. You can follow me on Instagram at DC.Radical1. On Twitter at DC Radical _ONE, on OTW2 at DC Radical1, the Cashapp $ DC Radical 1. You can donate via that, or you can donate via Zelle, straight Black Pride _DC at protonmail.com. You also can email me there. And if you would like either the lost tapes or the Dr. Khaled lecture series, you can pay via Cash App or Zelle. And I'll just say this, those lectures are becoming timeless because they're more relevant now. Parts of them are more relevant now than they were then. And as we increasingly go into the Zionist world order. So again, thank you all for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, there's a feature called Hype. So if you get a chance after the live stream is over, I believe you can hype up the video. If not, you can go back and hype up some of the other videos that have been that we've made, right? And brother, you got ripped off says those lectures were the Afrikan, they were the war horn that was sounded before the war came to our doorstep. What was I getting ready to say? I lost my train of thought. Well, nonetheless, yeah, I'm gonna definitely drop some content during the week this week. What that will entail, I do not know, but I will drop some content during the week, whether it's videos, clips, a live stream. We're gonna get something during the week. Whether I've only been doing live stream once a week. I have not put out a lot of content, but we will have some content out during the week. So, in fact, I may go back through some old shows that are still relevant and put clips up from that with some enhancement. So just be on the lookout for that, and you should get your notifications. Make sure you have your notifications set to all, because YouTube has a habit of not notifying you all from what I hear. So with that, brothers and sisters, I say a BB for ODA and straight black pride.
Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also follow us on our other social media platforms. On Instagram, we're at dc.radical1. On Twitter, we're at dc_radical_ONE. And the Cash App is $DCRadical1. Again, thank you for subscribing. A BB for ODA and straight black pride.